Hello and welcome to one more episode of our playthrough with Utana, the Vindicator, the blessed one by Otos, the Shepherd of Storms. Now, first, sorry by our little absence, our little hiatus in continuity in developing in giving episodes, uploading episodes, I should say. I had some personal projects, like you guys might have seen the the haka thing, playing with no weapons, only with our fists, like no weapons, no shields, no offhands. That was one of my personal projects that I wanted to work on that build. And I also have to study. You know, there's this little thing called life stopping my career of being a YouTuber. But that said, let's go back to our playthrough. Now, there's one thing that I have to mention with you guys, and it's about this skill, Storm Spread. Now, Storm Spread, I was so sure that this could also work when playing melee, like that this would just activate it only by, like, if you roll a critic, this could activate it, but actually this only activates if you're using a ranged weapon, which means we basically invested these points and these points almost kind of for nothing. I'm not going to fully remove all of the points of Inquisitor, because, well, we are thinking of picking some Word of Renewal here and there, and we also have the Deadly Aim that actually helps even playing melee. But we are going to be taking these points off, and I wanted to show you guys, because maybe you were following exactly the same build as I was. So see you guys in a moment after those points have been replaced somewhere else, and I'm going to show where I'm going to put them. Okay, so our points have been redirected towards the upheaval, well, the brute force skill, and more focus on the upheaval part. The brute force is a two-handed melee and two-handed ranged weapon bonus that was considering for this playthrough, because after all we are going to be using a two-handed weapon all the time, and so this is going to give some more lightning damage. This upgrade to this skill is going to add bleeding damage, and then upheaval is going to mix them both together and create a shockwave around us when we roll a critic, basically. No, not when we roll. Well, yeah, I think it's whenever you land a critical strike. Yeah. And then together with this we have the Hand of Otos, which also is already maxed out on 100% chance on critical attack. We also gave one more point to our little Storm Totem, our little friend. I'm also considering picking the Wind Devil, since we have started picking the Storm Totem. So maybe we are going to have some more in our arsenal of lightning producing things. And on the Inquisitor, I put 1 point in Word of Arms, because it takes some of the skill recharge and increases our energy regeneration by 25%. Not that we have any problems, but, well, if we ever need to heal faster, now we can heal faster, because we are always going to be using a two-handed melee. And 1 point in Vigor and 1 point in Steel Resolve, if we ever need it. That said, let's go. You guys know that I always like to comment about... Look at that! That was a Hand of Otos coming from the sky. You can see that the whole screen shaked a little bit. You guys know that I always like to comment on what's going on with my life and my affairs. Not that I have any affair going, but you got the idea. So, for example, this is beautiful. I think we are going this way. I'm going to tell you why in the way. But I actually discovered by accident a new YouTuber that I really liked. his name is, well, his YouTube name is Scribe, and I really like the way he talks and the way he makes his videos and all, and I'm going to borrow some of his ideas, some of his style. For example, one thing that I really liked on his Bloodborne playthroughs that I was watching, because honestly I'm crazy about Bloodborne, but I never got the chance to play because consoles and everything, and I have no money. But it's one thing that when he is talking to NPCs, he brings the camera closer, and that's one of the reasons why I'm still playing on my mousepad, because by this point I'm completely used to playing on the mousepad. But now I also have the mouse right here if I want to do things like this and just put some perspective, some different camera on my character. I also got in touch a little bit with doing this because of the Haka project, so I might be using a little bit of the comma and the period thing just to shake the camera a little bit and make things more fun and more thrilling. Who knows, perhaps. I honestly like this kind of camera in Grindal, like at distance. I don't know. I think it suits me well. Right here, the purpose of us going right here is that we can speak to Caldros, the spirit that was out there with that other necromancer, and we can get the XP for completing the quest Old Scars. Now we have a choice. We can get in here and complete this Steps of Torment dungeon and the dungeon that opens inside Steps of Torment once we defeat the first quest that Caldros is going to give us, which is to defeat the Zartuzulan. Okay, now that's a nice camera. Or we can just go on our merry little way, slay Lutra the Abandoned, and start our path towards Homestead. Now, if there was any kind of communication between us, or I don't know, a live chat, if I were to be live streaming this, I could know your position about what should we do. Since I don't, we are going to be going on the Steps of Torment dungeon. And since you already clicked the link and you are watching this, I hope you enjoy. So, what's next? And he asks us to bring down the Grand Priest Zartuzulan. No problem, Caldros. We are going to do that. We can do that. So we are on Steps of Torment. Steps of Torment, if you never have been to this place, or if it's your first time playing this game, it might be really challenging. Especially if you're not in the smash and grab thing. Because if you're in the smash and grab thing, you can have some okay, back to where I was. You guys can see that there's something different right there, right? It's because now we finally have our full attire. I know this emerald has, like, it makes no sense in this clothing, but, well, mistakes happen. And it happened for a long time. But the thing is, now we also have the Storm-Scorched Shoulder Guards, which is going to give us even more electrocute and lightning damage, and is also going to be dropping even more lightning bolts on our enemies. And if you look at our skills window, you can see that now we have the Wind Devil, and you can see that our things are all, the numbers are all blue, which means there are bonuses. You get these bonuses because once you have the full set, which is basically the shamans that are built towards lightning and all, you get +3 to Storm Surge if you already have 2 pieces of the set, and then 1 to all skills and shaman if you have the full set. So yeah, Ultan is even more powerful than before. About what I was talking about, I have no idea what I was talking about earlier, sorry. I just got distracted because the green thing was there flashing and I was like, oh, I must Also, there's this neat little thing that I discovered. You can click this button to just show up what you want. So if you are one of the people that are like getting on your nerves because I never look at the smaller rarity items, well, now you're not going to even see the items, so no reason to get mad, right? But yeah, I saw the green flashing thing and I knew that the number was 30 and I was like, I know what that means and I need to fulfill these needs for Utena. Now Utena has the proper attire and not just a shade of what it could be. And now bolts can fall from the heavens all the time and slay all of our enemies. And the screen's going to be shaken even more because now we do not only have, well, that made not much sense, but now we not only have the, ooh, that was fun, our life dropped a lot. Now not only we have the what's the word? Damn. You just stop recording for a little bit and everything just gets messed up in your head, you know? We not only have the hands of Otos dropping from the heavens and shaking everything, we also now have the Stormscorched shoulder guards to produce the same effect. There's a little neat thing about this level design, and it's that the exit of this place is right here. It's this room. If there was any skill in the game that would allow you to just jump through walls, kind of like Flash from League of Legends does, we could just skip the whole level. But there isn't. At least to where I know of, there isn't. Which is kind of sad, because sometimes it would be kind of fun to just know how to do some skips on the levels. Like, stuff you can do in things like Dark Souls, you know. If you just make the right jump in the right place, you basically skip a lot of content. Not that I'm one for skipping content, I usually like it, but on the other hand, it makes you look like you know what you're doing, right? It makes you look like, oh, this guy knows the game, because he's just making this nice jump to skip a bunch of unnecessary things. So right here, you can see that our life is finally getting some hits and dropping down a little bit, which is definitely interesting, especially because up to this point I was kind of feeling no pressure with Utena, like ever. Now I want you to put yourself in the place of a person that has never played this place before, or maybe you know exactly the sensation because you have felt it once, maybe. And probably, and not probably, but I hope that it never happened to you again, but Steps of Torment might be really a torment, might be really a demanding place that might get on your nerves and might be kind of really hard to your character. Some characters have more trouble here than others, especially if your character doesn't have much health coming to this place. And I'm going to be commenting on that a little bit later. Well, way later. Let's just do it now. And when the thing shows up, I just can point at it and say, see what I was talking about. So, Steps of Torment, not only you have this bunch of people attacking you, so spirits and skeletons and everything, you're also going to be meeting on the other dungeon traps. Now, not your cute girl anime cosplaying kind of trap, but actual traps that can kill you before you even realized what killed you. So Some of the traps are more flashy. You kinda can get an idea of what's going on because they look like fire coming out. Let's go, Wind Devil. Show me what you can do. Oh, you killed a skeleton thing all by yourself. I'm proud. So some look like a bunch of blue phantasm, ghostly fire coming from the ground, like a phantom fire, if I can even call it like that. But others look like a bunch of ghastly missiles going out from the ground, and they are homing missiles. They go towards your character. So sometimes you just walk through them and you're like, oh, it's okay, I'm fine. And you're not exactly fine because they are still going your way. And especially if it's a point where there's a bunch of enemies and you have to pay your attention to the enemies, especially if your character has low health, you might be on a bit of a pickle. If that even makes any sense. I'm going this way. I know that Xerxes Land was really close. If you know how to traverse the Steps of Torment, but I'm going this way because there is a shrine, as you can see on the minimap. So I'm going back to get our shrine points, our devotion points. We have to be devoted to Otos. I know that maybe I haven't get like 100% of the 100% of the shrines in this playthrough, but I'm doing really well, I think, in gathering them. And so there's one more here that requires our attention. And dude, I'm liking the Maelstrom. The Maelstrom just goes out of its own way to seek for enemies and to bring an end to them. Let's see what we just got here. The Ring of Vile Intent. It's poison damage and acid damage now. I think we are going to stick for things for now. And pens. There's one thing about pens in this game that I don't understand sometimes. It's like, there are some pens that they have really nice effects, but they have a terrible art. Like, look at this pants. I don't want to go around dressed like a snake, like a slith, like a son of a slith. I mean, look at this other pet. It has 52% poison nasty resistance and +1 to Mog Dragon's Pact. That's a really good deal. And 308 armor. That's a really good deal. And then, like, I mean, it's a really good deal if you need to traverse on a place that has poison and all. And then it has that art, which most part of the time is not going to fit well with the rest of your set. So it's kind of sad, actually. And unfortunately, for now, Grindel doesn't have a system like Diablo where you like the art of a pant, you just don't like the color, so you can buy a color, buy some ink, I guess, and paint it as you wanted. So if you want it black, you just gotta paint it black. Okay, I'm sorry first, because maybe it wasn't on the full rhythm of the song. It's been like ages since I've heard Paint It Black from Rolling Stones. Well, yeah, that was the full intent there. Let's give some help to our little Maelstrom friend, because I'm liking it. We leave our personal rift here, because our Jusland sometimes can be kind of a dick. And let's go! So here we have to deal with the Grand Priest Zertuslan. Otana is not known for fear, so we are just going to fucking mess with him. That was quick. So, sometimes Zertuslan can be kind of a dick, I say, cause he can kill you. I'm not even kidding. I know that Utena makes everyone look like they are up for grabs, just like Darius Crowley, which was completely anticlimactic, and I'm never going to stop saying this. However, Zarathustra, for example, killed one of my favorite characters once, which was the Inquisitor. What was her name? Zanika. Yeah. Caldros, you have destroyed the priest. No shit, Sherlock. My master will be pleased. For your service, I bestow upon you this key. It is the only way to unlock the ancient places of this world. Like these big doors right here. Ancient places, yes, many doors were sealed long ago by ancient powers now lost. The doors before you were secured by such means. But I must warn you, the key will be destroyed once used, and the doors will not remain open for long. Once inside, the only way out is past the Lord Executioner, or through death. The Lord Executioner, Akmos, he was the Arcovian charged with Uruburuk's torment. Now he will suffer for all eternity. And you can make other questions to him. We're just going with Nevermind, and we are going to be opening the Gates of Anguish and going on our merry little way towards this dungeon. Now, this is one of the special dungeons that you can only open if you have a skeleton key. And, well, on this place, wow, it sure looks nice to fight on first person. The only problem is that sometimes the walls can build the way of our things. And I don't possess yet the skill to go all the way like looking for the perfect camera angle while I'm also fighting. But the point is, these are special dungeons that you can only open if you have the skeleton keys. As Caldros stated, once you use the skeleton keys, they will be gone. I'll be gone. Okay, sorry Linkin Park. Anyway, so yeah, if you don't have the means to craft many skeleton keys, maybe you might consider not using them on dungeons that you have no business going on. For example, we are here on the Steps of Torment dungeon, specifically on the floor Suffering, because I want to go Steps of Torment 100% with you guys. However, if you're not looking for something special like an achievement that we are about to get right here, I was trying to think of special things that you could only get here on Suffering, then you could save this key for other places like, I don't know, Port Velbury, or even the what's the name? The Bastion of Chaos, I think that's the name. So as you can see, the portcullis behind us is closed and is not going to open until we have dealt with the Chamber of Souls. Oh, Too Hard, you're here again. So right here there's a bunch of guys and some bosses that are going to be showing up, and once you defeat these guys, the portcullis is going to be open again. But there's also something else that you can do here. Oh, a Black Grimoire of Ognapesh. I love this item because of my pet builds. You know, if you watched the Erasmus playthrough, and if you didn't, I completely encourage you to do so. And right here we have a Bone Reliquary, which when you open it for the first time, you're going to be getting a achievement, which is something like, whoa, congratulations, you defeated the Chamber of Souls. Yeah! I think there's a hidden wall right there, isn't it? 1 second, let me just... Oh, here, these are the traps I was talking about. So there are these kind of traps, which are like ghostly fire, but there are also traps that shoot some homing missiles towards your way. Let me just make sure. Yeah, it might not be here. Okay. So right now, basically what you gotta do on these types of dungeons is that usually these types of dungeons have three they have three places, three levels, you can say. And once you're done with them, there's gotta be a final boss, something like that, and something that you click and you go back to the surface or to wherever it was before you got it here. Oh, and here is the kind of secret area that I was looking for back there. I know I have points and things to put, so I mean, whatever. Let's just be leveling up our stuff, because that's how we do in Smash and Grab. If you're playing on main mode, there are actually guides on the internet of which skills you should be picking more often, which is something that you can find out on your own if you play the game enough. But since on Smash and Grabs we have this, I don't know, extra points you could put like that, then sometimes you can like max out your skills just for the sake of completionism, or so you can look at it and say, you're a piece of shit. Now you understand why people don't max you out. Okay. Also, I just remembered there's an item description right there that I want to read. So 1 second. It's this one, the miasma robes, regalia worn by dregs chosen. So, if you are thinking about making a toxic, and by toxic I mean acid and poison damage, playthrough with one of your characters, I totally recommend this set, the miasma set, because it's pretty fun. I have a character which is named Adrigly. Oh, here are the homing missiles that I told you. So as you can see right here, they are hitting the wall because I am hiding behind the wall, but when I was walking through this path they were following me, as you might have been able to appreciate. Also, one thing that you can see is that our health is currently bigger than usual, and I'm going to be talking about it in a second. That happens because of Vigor. Now, Vigor, this upgrade to Word of Renewal, is going to be giving you some amount of health. So not only heals you a little bit, it also gives you more health. And there's an item that we got there, the Spark Bolt Arbalest, that if you are doing a Shaman and Demolitionist electrocute build, so you have the stun jacks from the Demolitionist and you have, you know, the electric skills from the Shaman, you could be using that weapon. There's a portcullis right here, that's why I couldn't step forward properly. So you could be using that weapon. It gives you some benefits and even gives you stun jacks. I'm not going to be equipping it though, cause truth be told, I'm kinda really fan of ranged weapons in Green Dawn. At the same time, I like the melee fighting style a lot more. It's more thrilling. I mean, there's more emotion, I guess, than to just stay in the back shooting things. There's another portcullis here, and there's going to be a boss here. Ilgor the Eternal. Now, this guy has a nice gimmick to it. So he's called Eternal because once you kill him, he just spawns back. But, well, we just put him to sleep twice in a row. Yeah. How much Eternal are you now? I see your eternity is not a match for the bolts of one blessed by Otas. Yeah. So as you can see, our maximum health right now is 4k and 300, unless we, yeah, 4k and 300, unless we have Vigor activated, the upgrade from Word of Renewal activated, in which case our maximum health becomes 4k and 475. Remember the witch Anastasia from the fourth icon that I ended up killing on my Erasmus playthrough? She's going to ask you to come right here where I am to retrieve something that's called the forgotten somethings that teach some, I don't know, forsaken magical, oh, it's right here, forsaken magical acts or rites for her. It's one of her side quests. If you haven't just, if you weren't like me and were like, oh, let me see what happens if we kill her. By the way, we didn't kill her on this playthrough. In fact, we haven't even met her in this playthrough. But I'm talking about the previous playthrough, the Pet Master playthrough. And I know the proper thing is Kabbalist, but Kabbalists, there are many Kabbalists, okay? But there's only one Pet Master, Erasmus. I have this thing where most of my characters have to have odd names. And the fun part is, when all your characters have odd names, having a character with a normal name is the odd thing. So for example, all my characters have these weird names. For example, if you ask yourself, where does the Ko on this guy's name come from? Because my channel name is JazzG.EmptynessKoe. Or maybe I don't have the 49. Yeah, I don't have the 49, but EmptynessKoe on my YouTube channel. Well, that is like that because I wanted to join all my main gaming names on one. So JazzG, which kinda also reminds of JazzJackrabbit. It was a great game. Maybe someday I bring it to the channel, if you guys also like JazzJackrabbit or are feeling nostalgic. But the emptiness come from my Blizzard account, which is emptyness49, and Ko comes from back then when I played League of Legends, where my name was Ko Jahar. So I brought all these names together, basically, and formed my YouTube name channel. Because, I don't know, I felt like if someday I want to play League of Legends again, then it's going to make sense that Ko being there. If someday I don't know, if someday I end up going back to Hearthstone, the Emptiness Fortnite is still there. So that's kind of the reason. I think I never talked about fully. I think I never even mentioned it. But why did I even start this thing? Oh yeah, because I was about to talk about one of the about name things. So when all your characters have weird names, a character having a normal name is going to be weird. So when my characters have names like Utana, Ko Jahar, Zanika, Adrigli, Solela, and I mean, you can go everywhere of my character name. Zola. When you have weird names, you're like, okay, so this guy's thing with names are going to be weird names, right? A little pause. In dungeons like this, that you have to use your skeleton key, you're going to meet some merchants, and these merchants sell some things that are interesting. They might sell you blueprints. Now this guy doesn't sell us, at least right now, nothing interesting. I didn't want actually to sell that. I wanted to read it. The one they call Ruburuk makes mockery of the gods. The Lord Executioner cut his flesh, but the wounds refuse to bleed. His limbs grow back, his skin is impervious to flame. I believe the time has come for me to descend into the vile place and deal with the heathen myself. We shall see how he reacts to the cleansing flame of the divine. Well, we know it didn't end well for Zertislan. So yeah, your divine stuff, they were no match to Great Ruburuk. So, as I was saying, these merchants, they can sell you unique things sometimes, unique blueprints of maybe relics and stuff that you're looking for in the game. That's a mine of a trap that's going to activate. Let's go down for a second while we're exploring. So for example, after I made all this rambling, I don't know, twice or thrice about my character names, when you find out that I have a character named Fernanda, Fernanda is kind of a normal name, a common name, right? Maybe you are more familiar with Fernando as a guy's name, but there's also Fernanda as a girl's name. Or I mean, as a name, and then you identify with your gender, whatever you want. But Fernanda is a fairly common and okay name, right? But when you put it in perspective with all the other crazy names that my characters have, then it looks weird, even though it's normal. And it's one of the effects that I kinda like to cause to myself. Like turning a perfectly common name into something magical and special. Because it's actually something kinda interesting, but our notion of normal and of what is acceptable, it's only what it is because a lot of people agree with it, kind of. So, for example, a custom of eating with your hands might be okay in one culture. Like, let's say, if you are one of the nomads in the desert, or I don't quote me on that, but maybe some cultures, even still on 21st century and all, still eat with their hands, and it's okay for them. For example, they commented, they speak on it by telling you that they know where their hands have been, so they're fine with eating with their hands. For example, they're not going to use their hands to, like their right hand to scratch their body and then eat something. Sorry. No, they know perfectly where their hands have been, and they're not going to use their cleansing hand, kinda, if I could use this expression, to eat. So they're not using an impure or dirty hand. On the other side, you could argue that, well, let's be honest, you have no idea what goes on a kitchen of a restaurant. So you have no idea what's going on with a certain spoon. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So the knock on the door that you guys heard, Food! My lunch is here. So before I go this path, which I know it's the boss, I just want to go back there and explore that little black area with you guys, so we can say that we did the Steps of Torment 100% and all. I was rambling about names, right? Or I was already on another topic. I don't remember. The knock of the door totally threw me off. So that was a little trap of 3 bosses. Not that big of a deal to Utena, because Utena is OP. Maybe I should have named her OP. Or some weird name like Og Plata, so she could be OP even on her name. I don't know. So yeah, let's finish the name thing. I kinda like this effect of making a common name special by proximity. Oh yeah, I was talking about what's normal and what isn't, right? So, for example, as I was talking about, for one culture it might be okay to eat with your hands, because they might argue, well, I have no idea what that spoon has been. You might have put that spoon in your ass. So I'm not going to eat with that spoon. No, I'm going to eat with my own hands, because I know where my hands have been. And that's normal to them, and that's perfectly acceptable, and that's a good argument in that culture. Back to our culture, well, try eating pasta with your bare hands in public. People are going to deem you mad. People are going to deem you crazy, because this is not normal. Why it's not normal? Because we have conventions and we have social things that we have to follow to kind of like be part of society as all. So this is Akmos, the Lord Executioner. He's like, he is really tough on your first times facing this boss, especially because he deals a little bit of this damage over time, and he also has this big pulse of damage that he can make on the ground, kind of like seals, if you think back to Salazar. And he also has that that scythe that deals a lot of damage, and the Nightblade skill that allows one to just jump on the enemies and deal a fuck ton of damage. I think when that skill is maxed out, you deal like 210% your main hand damage. Something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So right here you have a treasure trove to like, oh, you defeated Akmos, so only so you don't leave this place empty-handed, receive some things. We have particles here and this monolith that's going to bring us back to the surface. And that's Step of Torment, guys. So, finishing my thoughts, and while we are walking possibly towards the finish of this video as well, the whole thing about being normal is like what it's acceptable as, I don't know, what's acceptable as something that everyone can do and it's healthy or not for everyone. For example, going back on time, people believed that baths would actually degenerate your health. So people wouldn't shower, people wouldn't bath. That's why perfumes, colognes, and every kind of anything that makes you smell better was created. Because back then it would be crazy for one to take baths. Because allegedly, I don't know how to pronunciate this word, but some would believe that in doing so, you would be giving yourself brain damage. I don't know where this belief came from, but it was a belief at the time. So you would have to be crazy to take a bath. Nowadays, you would have to be crazy not to take a bath. Or at least, we hope so. I mean, most people hope everyone have this like laid out. Like, you need to shower, okay? Okay. Or, no, I don't need to shower. Okay, so stand like 10 feet away from me. Here we have another shrine. So even more points for us. And I kind of like this pants. Where are they? The room, no, this is the Shadow Wave. Where are the pants I just found out? Were those not pants? Where is it? Where are they? Okay, they disappeared in the void. It's okay. We don't talk about them. They're just gone. Nobody saw that. Anyway. So, finishing the thoughts while we are going towards the next Rift Gate, and I was standing in a pool of ether because I'm reckless and sometimes really dumb. I like to cause this effect. And I like to cause this effect around names that I really like. Like, for example, Fernanda. Or basically all the variations of Thais or Thaisa or this kind of name. I really like those names. So this is Elsa, the same Elsa we've been looking for morning. And well, let's read a little bit of her dialogue, because I commented about it on my first playthrough, but I didn't read the talking with her, and it's kind of fun. I can only assume you mean Mornay, because we told her that someone's looking for her. Idiot nearly got me killed out in Old Arkovia. Bandits got us in the night, drawn up to his damned fire. They tied me up and dragged me back towards the camp, probably to share me with the rest of the gang. Shame for them, they weren't very good at tying knots. I slit their throats while they slept and made off on my own. Why didn't you return to Mornay? Well, I thought he was dead, but knowing he's back in Devil's Crossing makes me even less inclined to return. He's not a bad man, but I can't stand to have him found all over me like replacement for his dead wife. Because if you remember, when you talk to Mornay, he tells us that his wife died on the start of the Green Dawn. He believes that there is some great romance between us and refuses to accept that I have no such feelings. Well, that's a problem. Should I tell him you're alive? It might be better that he believes me dead. The last thing I need is a lovesick fool pursuing me through this hellish world. What did you mean by another from Devil's Crossing? I encountered another survivor from Devil's Crossing just recently who convinced me that Homestead was a place where I could help make a difference. I never got a name, but he cooked a fine meal and told me many remarkable stories about political intrigues and time of empire. Then he set off by himself. If you can note the happiness in my voice, it's because just by the description, not even because we know who he is, but just by the description, there is no way this guy isn't Ogrim! If you were headed to Homestead, why did you join him? He just got up in dark of night and told me he was heading on as he had urgent business in Homestead. I warned him that it would be wise to wait while the trolls and the furious fought it out and smugglers passed, but he said that he could pass unseen between them if he was alone. It sounds crazy to me, but he was a likable fellow, and I hope he fared better than I expect. You're always welcome back in Devil's Crossing. Thanks, but I have no plans to return there. I'd rather find my fate on the open road. Alright, farewell. So, this is Elsa. She's going to be okay. I mean, she's fucking awesome on their own. She's a badass. And if we were to go right there, we would skip the Barren Highlands. And actually, due to time constraints, because I have no idea how much time I spent on Steps of Torment, I'm going to be making this skip. If I look at the time and see that, okay, let's just do that. 1 second. Goodness gracious, we are on the 49 minutes mark. I had no idea. I mean, I know that the dungeons take up some time, but I didn't realize that we spent so much time talking about, I don't know, weird things about my names and running up in the Steps of Torment thing. So yeah, if you just want to skip this area, you just hug the left and go the left all the way. Forget that the main roads are relation, just go left all the way and you're going to find the Rift Gate. Actually, you're going to find the entrance to Smuggler's Pass and with it, the Rift Gate. So we are going to kind of skip this area running. There's not actually anything that actually happens here, but there could be some stray bosses, something like that. We are going to be making this skip because this video has been going on for a while, but I don't know, consider it a special, a homecoming special, I guess, for Utena. Look at her. She's awesome now. She's with the proper attire and now with the torch. Show the guards. Oh, Utena. I fall in love every time. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and I see you guys next time.